Hello everyone, today I'm going to be talking about Repentance and some of the new additions and reworks it's brought to the game, and how those are affecting the balance. So first of all, we got game breaks and broken items and broken synergies, and Repentance just kind of like takes a lot of those out, or at the very least it dampens them. I for one really fucking like this, but I know a lot of people just fucking despise it. To start, they've nerfed a lot of broken synergies with Blank Card. Blank Card was separated into Blank Card and Clear Rune, and Clear Rune obviously it duplicates all the rune effects. So that basically means that if you want a Blank Card Yara, you're not actually going to be using Blank Card at all anymore. You're going to be using Clear Rune. And there's another balance change to Placebo, Clear Rune, and Blank Card, and basically, depending on what consumable you're mimicking, it'll have a different charge time. And of course, if you have Yara put into it, it'll be a 12 charge. And if you have, like, stat up pills, it's also a 12 charge. And if you have, I think Hierophant and, like, Justice and some other card effects that are, like, really good, it'll be 12 charge. It doesn't erase these synergies, it just makes it so you can't get Tear Cap on one floor with Placebo and Tears Up. In addition, because of this new variable charge time feature, there are a lot more good synergies. For example, Friends Till the End and Explosive Diarrhea with Placebo, Soul of Cain, Soul of Blue Baby, and Burkano with Clear Rune. And for Blank Card, Reverse Emperor, Joker, Moons, Hermit, Stars, Empress, Hutro with Airwalk, and a ton of other shit. All of these synergies have lower charge time than they would before. In fact, most of them now outperform the active items that they're replicating. Basically, they nerfed the very most broken synergies, but they buffed your average synergies with the items. This is a very common theme with Repentance. It buffs Isaac's Heart, it buffs Bob's Brain, it buffs Holy Water, it buffs all of these garbage shit items that you normally never want to pick up, and it also reworks a lot more forgettable items like Notched Axe and Game Breaking Bug and Shard of Glass. When's the last time you've thought of fucking Shard of Glass? But on the flip side, 2020 is nerfed. I've heard a lot of people complain about 2020 being nerfed. Now 2020 isn't times 2 damage, it's times 1.5 damage. Also, Steam Sale and Restock are both nerfed. Restock costs a little more each restock, and Steam Sale, if you have 2 of them, it's no longer everything free, it's just like a quarter of the original price. Essentially, it's much harder to do game-breaking runs. Trust me, it's still possible, it's just much harder. And on the flip side, your average run is significantly better. The average item you get is much better than before. The game is much more consistent, which honestly, I really love. Now runs are more determinant on the items you get as a whole, rather than a few really good items. Now, how does this impact the balance? How does this impact the gameplay? How does this impact the meta? How do you want to change your approach? First of all, skipping items is a lot more detrimental, and Angel and Devil rooms are comparatively better because the average item they give you is better. So losing Angel deal chances and Devil deal chances is a bit more of a detriment because those are items that can help you, and if you get Holy Water in the Angel deal, it's actually going to be good. But if you don't get the Angel deal, then you're missing out on possible items that can help you overall. With treasure rooms, I feel like you can kind of justify skipping them sometimes, because planetariums are a thing now, and if you skip a treasure room, your chance of a planetarium spawning increases a shit ton, and planetarium pool is fucking crazy, it's really good. So in a way, the one item carry type gameplay is still sort of there, but it's much more risky, and I definitely don't think your average run you should be skipping treasure rooms. It's absolutely a risk-reward thing. There's also some pretty major changes to how stats work. Specifically, Tears and shot speed. Shot speed kinda got nerfed, tears kinda got buffed. The tears cap basically just doesn't exist anymore, so if you get soy milk, it will synergize with tears up items, which is fucking awesome. That's really good. And also, shot speed. Shot speed no longer increases range, so it'll just go faster and fall faster, which is still good, but like, shot speed up is no longer glorified range up. Characters are also very important, obviously, and there are a ton of character changes. Maggie no longer starts with a speed up pill, she starts with a full health pill, which means that floor 1, you can like really milk sacrifice rooms, which is really good. So getting early key pieces as Maggie is actually much more viable, and it's often very much worth doing. In this DLC, she essentially gained an extra 3 sacrifice room uses. And if you ask me, pre-Repentance, she was already the best for sacrifice rooms, so this just makes her even better for that. Although, now you'll have to deal with her 0.85 speed, which is now the worst in the game, because Keeper got buffed. And trust me, Keeper got buffed hard. Keeper has better default speed, Keeper has better default fire rate, Keeper's health cap is now 3 instead of 2, and you can unlock an extra heart container to start with for him. Keeper also isn't affected by a ton of extremely detrimental pills, and now Keeper doesn't have to pay for things with hearts. Everything is treated as a shop item. Admittedly, that last change can be very detrimental, because there's a lot of situations where you can get the devil deals with the hearts, but not with the coins. This is a major issue if you just unlocked Keeper, because you won't have wooden nickel, so you won't be able to afford these items, like, at all. Essentially, Keeper got buffed hard as hell, but when you just unlock him, he's even worse than before. And since you don't have the extra heart container unlocked by default, that means you have to hope and pray for specifically one heart container when you play as him, because anything more will be redundant, and anything less will put you at a major disadvantage. Additionally, the previous best Keeper strat is completely gone now. This strat was essentially just get Swallowed Penny from a pot, and donate to the blood banks until you get IV bag, and then you get infinite money, infinite health, infinite shop items. It was fucking busted as hell, and very easy to get. But this strat no longer works, because Swallowed Penny no longer gives you 1 coin or more when playing as Keeper, and blood banks no longer give you 1 coin or more when playing as Keeper. If you're really struggling for Keeper unlocks, especially that 1 extra health container, which you have to get by beating fucking Hush, I'd recommend that maybe you disable the Repentance DLC, and then you just do the wacky strat in Afterbirth Plus. Because if you have all of the unlocks for Keeper at Afterbirth Plus, you have all of the starting items in Repentance. They basically just tacked on the extra heart container into what I assume used to be a joke unlock for Afterbirth. Finally, the last major buff, Lucky Foot is much better now with its own unique passive effect, and in turn, Cain is buffed. Now, when you take a stat down pill while holding Lucky Foot, it's treated as a stat up pill. Which means that taking pills as Cain is much less risky, and honestly, pretty damn good. Lastly, I'd like to talk about routing, and thankfully, Repentance doesn't force you to go through all the anti-birth floors for all the routes. For the 2 new routes, essentially, one requires you to go through all the anti-birth floors, and the other doesn't. In fact, the other won't let you take the 3rd anti-birth floor if you want to do it. I think this is kind of important to know, because you may not even know that this alternate route exists if you keep taking the anti-birth floors. Just keep that in mind. To summarize this whole thing up, Keeper, Maggie, and Cain were buffed. Your average item is much better, although the game is harder as a whole, and the extremely good items are significantly less good. And also, 2 new routes. There's a lot more to it than this, but I think at the very least, this is the base information that you should know prior to playing the DLC. If people are interested, I'll make some more videos about it, whatever. I think it's pretty interesting, so like, you know, I'd enjoy doing it.